Hey guys, how you doing? Coming to you from the dyno again on another beautiful Florida Saturday. It's probably 78 to 82 and a breeze, so you might hear a little bit of a windy noise coming from the microphones today. But what we want to do today is finish what we started. The last time you saw this car on the dyno, we had an O2 failure, not before it made 630 rear wheel horsepower though. So the goal for today is this. We're going to try to dyno it on pump gas and give it no more than 16 or 17 degrees, because let's be honest, that's about as much as pump gas likes to take for timing. Then we're going to put 100 octane in the car and see what it makes. On that, we can shove about 22 degrees of timing. The cam timing is already vetted. The fueling is already dialed in on the MAF curve. We already did that previously. So now it's just a matter of making power. So the current setup on the car is an ESS supercharger G3x with a 120 millimeter pulley. What we're going to do is see if it can make 650 and up on pump gas, and we'll see if we can tickle 700 on race gas on the same boost. My goal today is not to make 700, but if it's there, I'm going to see what it takes. But I'm going to stick to a couple of thresholds. Pump gas no more than 17 degrees. Race gas no more than 23 degrees. That seems to be the norm, meaning anything after that you have diminishing gains. Anything after 17 degrees on pump gas, you're liable to touch the knock sensor based on limited octane. Even if it's 93, this is 12-to-1 compression with 10 or 11 psi. That's making a decent amount of power for that little of octane with a 12-to-1 compression car that is boosted. On race gas, if I have ample fuel supply, I'm going to try to get after it, but no more than 23 degrees. I'm not going to lean it out too much. I'm going to run within 0.79, no leaner than 0.81 lambda, which is about 11.7 if you're going by the AFR scale. These cars like it a little fatter, okay? They liked 11.2, 11.3 because of the high compression, and you can shove more spark in it, so it's kind of like a game. So today is the fine tuning. This is what I would do to you if you were to do a remote dyno session. If you were to say, Alex, let's allocate a time to get some pulls in. Well, that's extra. And then we're going to sit on the dyno within a 2 or 3 hour window, and we're going to dial your car in on whatever fuel you have. Okay, guys, enough talking. Let's strap her down. Let's get right after it. All right, I got the fan going, so don't mind the noise. So today's going to be a data logging heavy video. You will not see me strap it on. You will not see me do any of the extracurricular stuff. No filler. What I'm going to do is get right to the data logging. First, make sure the O2s are secure, everything's good. Get right to the data logging after the initial pull. I'm gonna again do a 5,000 RPM fourth gear hit. Remember, 18 and up MT82s, fourth gear is 1-to-1. This is a stage 3 Ben Calamer transmission, so the gear ratios are slightly different, but it's still fourth 1-to-1. So I'm gonna go ahead and do another 5,000 RPM hit in fourth gear on pump gas, currently on pump gas. It's about 16 degrees, see what it does, and compare it to the previous graph. If everything looks kosher, look the data log over. If it looks good, we're gonna go ahead and get right to 7,500 RPM to make a power pull on pump gas. See what the knock sensors are doing, see what everything's doing. If everything is happy, dial that in, and then see what power it makes, and then go ahead and get race gas in it and do the exact same thing and see what the difference is on the same exact boost, same exact day, same exact conditions on the dyno, because very rarely do you get that kind of difference in dyno videos. So let's get after it, kiddos. .466 at 5,000 RPMs, and then I believe we did another one. There we go. Now this is a much better comparison because these both were at 5,000 RPMs. I don't know what the hell, I gotta rename these. So both at 5,000 RPMs, both made similar power. The previous run made a little more power, but you could see that this guy was about to kick its ass. You see how in And in the other one, there was a pretty decent drop off. This one is about to smoke it at 5,000 RPMs. You're going to start to see this red one overtake it. It's already up 11 horsepower and similar torque, 11 torque over the previous. So I'm going to clean up the fueling, but not before I make a complete 7,500 RPM pull. Everything looks really good. Data log looks really good here. Fueling, let's look at fuel pressure. We did have an issue with fuel pressure before. So on this one, it's kind of named something funky. So there was a slight spike in fuel pressure here, but you could tell that the higher RPMs go, fuel pressure is going to start to drop. I anticipate it to drop to about 50. That's it. But previously we had a bad O2, so all that data is skewed. So nothing to write home about. Let's go ahead and make a 7,500 RPM pull, and we'll see how everything goes fueling wise, and then we'll start cleaning up the fueling at watt and see what it likes for timing. Survey says right where it should be, 628. Look at the torque. So there's a bit of a dip here, but I'm blown away. Okay, something is up with this supercharger system. This supercharger system makes 469, and look at the torque curve. Notice how centrifugals typically have a very peaky torque curve, then they drop off. Well, I let off right at 7,500 and torque was still pretty good. Now, the big difference you guys noticed right away from the ZR1 is torque. This thing makes 469 and it made it peak. It makes when did it make it peak? 465. When did it make the peak torque? At 4,800 RPM, it made a peak torque of, let's remove some runs. Let's remove the old run because it doesn't matter. Root close, selected. Okay, so previous to now. So according to this guy made 469 here, but why does it show 441? Oh, green is the latest run. Okay, so green is the latest run. 628, 470, where the previous run made 485. So who knows why it made more torque right there. I'll look at the data log and we'll see if the knock sensors complained or whatever. But I did start the pull at 3,000 RPMs here. And the previous run, I started the pull at 2,000 RPMs. That's why it seemed long, and it's a Coyote. On the Corvette, I did it at 2,000, and I'm telling you guys, on the hit, the Corvette will smoke this guy. But this thing is making 470 torque, but it doesn't seem to be real peaky. Typically, centrifugals go up, then they drop in torque pretty quickly. This is pretty damn flat. I want to know why it lost 40 horse here. That's from run to run. Look at that. It lost a bunch run to run. So I'm going to look at the data log and see if the knock sensors went ape or something was off. But obviously, that's what we're here to do. Look at a bunch of logs. All right, let's look at that data log. So we're seeing the short-term fuel trims mimic each other. This is very nice. They're within about, let's say 3% of each other. But you notice they're not dropping off, and they're not doing wavy shit. Watt, this is pedal, this is RPM, this is knock sensor. So everything is good. Negative knock is very good. Fuel trims flat are a good thing. We're going to look at fuel pressure because we know fuel pressure is dropping, but what is it dropping to? This is at 7,500 RPM. Hey, look at that. We somehow got 60 PSI. I don't know how that happened, but we are only dropping to about 60 PSI. So that gives me plenty of confidence to, maybe add more boost, but not today. Not today. We're going to just do pump gas and then race gas, or 100 octane. So it's only dropping to 66. That's very good, to 7,500 RPM. So fueling somehow came back. Maybe the voltage is happy. Maybe the fuel is more dense. Who knows? But this pump gas from Snorkel, the previous pump gas was from Mobil. I doubt they had a huge variable in terms of their density. That doesn't make sense to me. But hey, the fuel pump's happy. I'm not going to complain. So dropping to acceptable limits, and we need to clean it up about 10%. If you look at the fuel trims, we need to remove about 10% fuel, because I like the fuel trims to be 2 plus minus 2% from 1.0. So let's put a tune in it, clean up the fueling, make a same pull. And how much timing did it see? 14 degrees of timing. So what we'll do is 15. Okay, so what we can do is this. Because it's pump gas, I'm going to go up to 16.5 degrees. I'll cap it at 17, but I won't shove it, meaning I'll let the knock sensors add it. So I'm going to cap it at 17, but I'm expecting to see about 16 degrees at wide open throttle. Air charge temps are 111, which isn't terrible. Air load, it's moving a lot of air, or like we said, the MAF housing is smaller than a Vortec or Paxton unit. So clean up fueling, add a little timing, let's get after it. Now, some of you might be asking, which is a very good question, why do you have to touch fueling at all if the MAF curve is vetted, and why should you have to touch fueling at all? Well, you just put new O2s in, so the readings might be slightly off. Not necessarily on the MAF curve, but on the O2s themselves. Now they're brand new, fresh, so they're reading properly, or reading slightly off. That's why I tell people usually, hey, data log the car after you install anything, even if it's a simple replaceable item like spark plugs or O2s. Absolutely get yourself a nice new fresh data log, send it in if you're within your revision window, and we'll take a look at it and give you a health and safety update on the car. And if you need some tweaks, we'll be happy to do so. It's not a big deal. Okay, let's make a hit to 7,500, record the data log, review it. We'll see what power makes. We'll see what kind of adjustments it needs, and we'll just go from there. Keep chugging away on pump gas. Okay, let's flash a tune on this guy. That's an old splash screen. As you can tell, these N gauges have been around a little bit. Man, still the best tuning device in my opinion. I'll say that till the cows go home. Dyno pump gas R1. Let's go. Let's get after it, baby. Okay. Let's see if we can get her to make a little more after cleaning up fueling and adding about a degree of timing. Let's warm her up, take a hit, see how it goes. Cylinder head temp. Yep. Cylinder head temp's 185. Inlet air is 90. Happy. Let's see what it makes. Start data logging. That'd be nice. So, added a degree, cleaned up fueling. See what it makes. The dyno brake working. Stop the log, turn off the cameras, take a look at the dyno. See what it made. Okay, a couple things happened that I am happy about. Number one, air load now makes more sense. Air load is 1.7 because I touched subfueling. If your injector data or MAF data is off, your load data is off. So now load makes sense for a 120 millimeter pulley. It's about 1.78 air load at peak. So let's go up here and see 1.77, and it peaked max at 1.8 air load. Max RPM was 8,000, but that was on the clutch and on the spike. Timing, spark, we're going to look at SAF or spark 1550. Didn't see any more timing. Now, did the knock sensor knock it back? No, the knock sensor never went positive because max never went positive. Negative knock is always good. So that's kind of it for pump gas. You see what I mean, guys? If I tried to add another degree of timing and it simply said, nah, fam, we good, that's where I go, let's not rag it out, because that's all it's got going for it. After cleaning up fueling, short trims are better, fueling is better. What is fuel pressure? Now that it is not needing that 10% fuel, we'll see if air fuel pressure stayed somewhat normal. Oh, it dropped to 55 psi. Again, well within range. Now, if you go, why does it drop to 55? Don't ask me. It's a pump. All I'm doing is reading what's going on in here. So, fuel pressure is dropping, but to acceptable limits at 7,600 RPMs. So how can we make more power right now on pump gas, right? I'm not going to shove more timing at it because it did nothing. And look at what it made. So previous run to current run, 628, 628. Newest run is blue. It made a little more in the middle. See, it made more meat in the middle. Actually, it made a lot more meat in the middle. Look at that. After cleaning up fueling, holy crap. In the middle, it is up 25 horsepower, right? But the problem is a lot of people look at the peak. This is what we call power under the curve. So by cleaning up fueling and letting it have a little more timing, ew, look at this torque difference. Sheesh, my God, the torque difference is ridiculous right here. So we know it's going to run better. And this is what we call, fine-tuning the car on pump gas. If you want to do a remote session, this is the kind of stuff I do. But again, not everyone's going to have the same results I'm having. So torque is about the same as it was initially on the first hit, way back when I first did the 5,000 hit. So it's back. Power under the curve is definitely up. But again, peak for peak, it's about the same at 7,500 RPM. So how can we make more power right now without shoving more timing at it or anything like that? We increase the airflow. That does not mean we pulley down, because I don't want to pulley down because that requires a belt change, and I don't want to stress out the fuel system where it's right at the cusp of 55 psi. But you know what I will do? I'm going to unbolt this guy, and we'll see if on pump gas how much power this is restricting at wide open throttle. So no tuning changes. Take this off, make a hit, see what it does. Okay, I was able to uncouple it and just twist and push down, and it seems to have done the trick. It's not going nowhere. Now we are not restricted by the filter, because it does have a filter down there, and nothing is stopping it from getting air. So let's do an actual good test. Let's close the hood, right? Let's close the hood, because this guy's kicking some major ass with fan stuff. Air's going to come through the grill, but not enough, because again, the MAF sensor is not affected in this setup. The MAF sensor is over here, chilling. So there's not going to be any turbulent air. But right here, see that honeycomb? That's where the air is going to come in when the hood is shut. So let's shut the hood. Let's see what the deal is. And again, we don't drive with our hoods open, so I'm not. Again, people would say, well, Alex, what was the difference between the previous setup and now? Well, before it had the filter coming from the bottom like it does stock ESS. Now I redid it, uncoupled it, and we're gonna close the hood, get this airflow going, and see if it makes any power difference. Okay, let's see what it does with the air filter removed, if there's any difference at all. Start at 3,000, see what it does. it made a difference. Not a massive difference, but it made a difference. Check it out. Okay, data log time. Might be boring for some, but some of you love it, and I love it because not many people are doing these kinds of tests. I think I'm probably the only one that's doing stuff like this. So, okay, pedal. Okay, RPM. Let's see load, because let's see some more airflow. Nope, 1.77. So it did not see any more peak airflow, and I think that's simply the compressor out of steam, right? 120 millimeter pulley at that airflow. Look at the timing. It saw 17 degrees up top. I have no idea why, but it did see more time. I didn't change a thing. So that's the funny thing, that run to run things can absolutely change. So let's take a look at what it made and where it made it and what the differences were. So here we go. This is great data. So previous run was 628, current run 639. Previous run was 484 torque. Most recent run 497. But this is look at the power difference here. So yellow is recent, blue is last one. Oh my lord. So let's remove all but blue and yellow. Close selected. Close selected. That is the meat of it, and that is at 4,500 RPMs, okay? Look at the difference in power. That is almost 40 horsepower difference between, let's see if there's ever a major difference of close to 40 horse. 435, so this is 34 horsepower, and that's with the snorkel removed, okay? And obviously this centrifugal just loves the middle stuff, because look at that. Look at that. At 5,000 RPMs, it makes 480 torque. It does it's peaky. It's a peaky son of a gun. 489 here, but it did peak at 497. So where did it peak at 497? Look at that. It peaked at 6,000 RPMs. This thing is making, which again, it's not astronomical, but for a centrifugal, that is very good. And this is a Coyote issue. Coyotes just don't make a shitload of torque. So it made more torque to the tune of over 20, right? Just under 20. Let's say 18 more torque. This area here is crazy. Look at that. It's a 40 more here. So this is going to feel torqueier with that snorkel. Again, this is the same exact tune, okay? Just with the snorkel removed. And look at that. But it did, on the data log, see more timing. So let's see, spark. It saw a max, let's say here it saw 18, but that's air load related, and then it dropped down to 70. See how it drops down? Because the higher the air load, the more it drops. So it saw a little bit more timing. So then you're gonna go, well, was it the timing or was it the airflow? Well, the nice thing about this is that you don't really know. You can say it was the airflow, but max airflow was exactly the same, 1.77 air load. The tune was exactly the same, but maybe the knock sensors were happier on that run. That's just how it is. So a lot of you guys that compare tuners and compare tuning and this and this and that, the runs can vary about 5 to 10 horse run to run. And with the snorkel off, you know, if you fudge the test, and remember, I have the hood down. Should I do a test with the hood up? Oh, fuck yeah. Let's do a test with the hood up. Okay, we're gonna go against Mr. Gale Banks' recommendation. We're gonna go hood up because I just want to prove a point. By removing the snorkel, it gained 10 horsepower peak, but average, it was up like 20 or 30 in certain spots, and torque was up like 40 in certain spots. So now that the hood is up, and now the world is your cold air and your grill, we're gonna see on the same exact tune, I'm not changing nothing, what it makes. So, gotta turn on the GoPro, then we'll make a pull. I'm so happy I do these tests. You're gonna love this shit, watch. Good stuff. So let's remove the blue run because the last run was red. So, look it, airflow picks up at the top and by quite a bit. So what we're seeing is a centrifugal supercharger likes ambient outside air. So let me click the red guy. Actually, do it here? Actually, here, because it highlights the red one. So there's the red one, which is the most recent pull. And up here, it starts to really separate because of plain and simple airflow. It's not being restricted by the hood. The world, it's cold air. Now, a lot of you guys are going to say, so you're telling me they should mount this outside? Oh my God. What I'm showing you that is manipulation of dyno numbers are really easy. And this is as transparent as I can be. So you guys get all the information possible. But hood down, hood up, there's the difference. 650, 500 torque. So 656 at 7. Look, peak horsepower was at peak RPM. Very nice. So the centrifugals just go up. I can't wait to put a 110 and a 105 and a 100. Oh my God, but I need a fuel system. I don't want to blow this thing up. And torque, there's a split right here. Look at the split over here at 7,000 RPMs. It's up 20. Right? So, I mean, all I'm doing is just giving you guys some data. So the next thing to do is put the snorkel back on, race gas. Okay? Put the snorkel back on, race gas, Snorkel 260 GT, 21 degrees of timing, up the ass, shove it down its throat in the middle, and we're going to see a huge separation here. So let's get rid of, and we're going to compare it to the hood open because we like weird data. So right click, close selected. So that's the most recent, that's the most it made, and the configuration with the most it made was hood up, snorkel off. So now we're gonna put the snorkel on, which is the same hood down, hood up. It doesn't matter because the snorkel is the snorkel. And we're gonna do race gas. Snorkel 260 GT, 21 degrees. We'll see what happens. Okay, I swapped the fuels. I put a tank drain tune to have the pumps stay on the whole time. Went ahead and drained the pump gas and put Snorkel 260 GT in it. And what we're gonna do is throw 21 degrees at it at first, and then after that, we're gonna see what it makes. We're gonna put the snorkel back on, and then see what it makes. Then remove the snorkel, and then leave the snorkel off, and then go for max effort on this boost, which is 23 degrees, no higher. And we'll see. I think that's gonna be a good test. The race gas stuff, I'm not really gonna. I'm not in this to test for anybody. I'm not testing for Snorkel 260 GT. I'm not testing for Lund Racing. I'm testing for me to see what these cars are capable of so that I have the best knowledge possible when it comes to letting you know what to do, what mods, what I did with my car. I'm willing to rag it out making like 10 dyno hits so that I have the knowledge and obviously the content to show you guys what I come across in the tuning realm. So, snorkel back on, 21 degrees, see what it made compared to snorkel on, pump gas, 16 degrees. Then we're gonna compare the snorkel off to the snorkel off pump gas. And so we're gonna do 3 more hits. Snorkel on, snorkel off, and then snorkel off, 23 degrees. And if the old pump gears and engine survives this, I'll probably make at least $8 on YouTube. Okay, 21 degrees. Snorkel on. Gotta turn on the GoPro. definitely picked up, but we're gonna do an apples to apples comparison here. Change the name so it reflects. Snorkel on 21 degrees. Save. That logs up. Oh yeah, picked up. Definitely picked up. So we'll compare apples to apples. This is not apples to apples. This would be apples to apples. So this is run file. I need run file 1. There we go. And I need to remove the blue one. Nope. I need to remove the red one. Because red one was pump gas, snorkel off. So close selected. So this is snorkel on, both of them, with just timing. Almost 50 rear wheel horsepower difference. Look at the torque. My God. Look, I mean, that is a split. And that's the ability to shove timing in down low. 50 horse plus, 50 torque everywhere. This thing, oh my Lord, look at this. It's almost up, it's over 67 torque. Rear wheel at 4,800, but there you go. So 21 degrees. So this is 21 degrees, the blue graph. The other one is 17 degrees or 16 degrees. Major differences on the exact same pulley, okay? Exact same pulley. So let's take a look at the data log. Look at that shit! 72 horsepower difference with timing. Sheesh. Again, snorkel is on. This is probably going to be 700 after it's snorkel off in 23 degrees. So I got 2 more runs to do. Hopefully the motor lives through it. So that is amazing. That's great. I love it. I love it. Look at that. 72 horsepower gain at 7,000 RPMs just with race gas. Again, stock fuel pump, booster pump, 120 millimeter pulley, and it's just chugging along. Let's take a look at the data log quick. Okay, a couple of things happened. So the fuel density might be different. So air load is down because I did have to touch up the MAF curve. I did a little idle and slow rev that you guys didn't see on race gas, and I touched up the MAF curve. So air load is down. Again, air load isn't absolute. It is a condition of MAF data and injector data, so and fuel density. So if fuel density changes, then your stoic changes, your MAF might change a little bit. So it all depends on how you adjust it. So don't look at air load as some kind of absolute, okay? Because max air load was 165, but look at the fuel trims. Remember before they were 0.90? Now they're 1.03. So fuel trims are tighter, but power is power is power. So let's see what fuel pressure did on this fuel. Fuel pressure dropped to 58 psi. We're okay there. Timing 21.8 degrees, and it tapered off to about 18 over what RPM? Over 7,600. So we're done at 7,500. So let's stop at 7,500. So it's at 19 degrees. So we still have some timing to go. Did the knock sensors complain? Yep, knock sensors were not happy. So even if I shoved timing down its throat, it was saying no thank you, because it's not an absolute. So right, let me change the color on the knock sensor. Why would knock sensors ever be that color? There we go. So the knock sensors did come in and take away 2 degrees of timing at the top. So what I'm gonna do is be a smart boy and not give it any more timing. Not one lick of timing. I am not stupid. AFR is between 7, it's 0.80 lambda. Is it creeping up based on fuel delivery? No, it's pretty flat. It actually went down, so it's probably 0.79 way at the top. Yeah, 0.78. Beautiful. Okay, so couple of things. Knock sensors were not super happy. I am not going to manipulate the knock sensor data. What I tried to do is shove timing down its throat, and that did not work. So we're already up a decent amount here. Oh, geez, God, Alex. So I'm not going to go ahead and give it another walloping. You know, 2 more. I'm going to do 1 more test. I'm not going to do 2 more because the knock sensors are complaining and it doesn't want more than 19 degrees. Many things could be happening, but I am not going to try to guess it or fatten it up or anything, or desensitize the knock sensor. I'm going to listen to them, let them do their thing. Desensitizing them in this application, I wouldn't do. On E85 race gas and a dual return fuel system, sure, let's fucking send it. So 675. So now 1 more test, snorkel off, and we'll wrap this guy up. Okay, last test right here. Snorkel off. Pump race gas tune. Sorry, race gas tune. I don't want to do 2 more pulls because this cloud over here does not look all that great, and I want to over there. It doesn't look good, so I want to beat it. So let me give you this view. Okay, snorkel off. This view. Let's do 1 more hit, and we'll see if we can touch 700. Okay, snorkel off, race gas tune, and if it sees more timing, it sees more timing. I can't control exactly how much timing it sees unless I max everything out, desensitize. I don't play that game. This is for me. This isn't, I wasn't tasked to do this. So snorkel off. It's going to target probably 21 degrees still. If the knock sensors interfere, it'll see 19 like it did last time. Data log always. What are the temps? Perfect. Like, super consistent. Normal mode. Why does it ask normal or race mode? Let's just go. Trying to beat this rain. Here we go. Let's name it snorkel off. I don't think it touched 700. Nope. Made the exact same power. So that means the knock sensors were mad. It made the exact same power. So I'm gonna look at the data log. I'm not gonna shove anything down his throat if it's not there, but we'll see why it made the exact same power, snorkel on, snorkel off. So we'll see what the deal is there. That's what we data log. So it didn't make that much of a difference, snorkel on, snorkel off. So the knock sensors did interrupt quite a bit, so that's why the test was skewed, where on pump gas they did not interfere at all. So on Snorkel 260 GT, I probably shouldn't shove more than 20 degrees. So if you guys see me not go ape shit on Snorkel 260 GT, this is why. Because even on race gas, the combustion event tends to be a little on the hot side, and it might just not be happy after doing multiple runs. And it kicked back 3.3 and it peaked at 5 way at 7,600 usually when I let off. So I probably would not go more than 19 or 20 degrees on any Snorkel 260 GT, but on E85, hey, we know that you have octane and some cooling effects, and we're more than likely to turn things off that interfere because we know it's false. It's got plenty of octane and cooling and fuel supply. So on E85, you're going to make more power than Snorkel, but it's a cheap, or you know, it's an alternative. I wouldn't say cheap. It's an alternative to 85 because you got to buy a fuel system, blah, 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 blah. Okay, let's wrap this up and let you know what we found out, and then we'll end it. Okay, let's wrap it up, guys. So what we had is on pump gas, it made about 620. It ended up making about 650 once we ended up taking the snorkel off, and I thought that was a pretty interesting test to make because it actually saw good timing. Gosh, this wind really kills the vibe. It actually saw good timing, so airflow or actually power wasn't affected by the knock sensors. So then we went on race gas, and it made 675 with the snorkel on and about 19 degrees, but the knock sensor started creeping in. It didn't like 21 degrees. It only let it have about 19. Then I took the snorkel off, and my suspicions are that it saw more airflow, and the additional airflow caused the knock sensors to kick back even more timing, causing it to remove 5 whole degrees, but the additional airflow still netted the same horsepower at 3 less degrees. If it took out 2 last time and then it took out 5, so it 3 less degrees of timing saw the same power. So theoretically, if there was E85 in the system, this car should have been over 700 on a 120 millimeter pulley without a problem. But I thought it was an interesting test. It's only a 120 millimeter pulley. It's nothing crazy, nothing spectacular. Probably about 10 to 11 psi tops. I'd say more around 10 because the airflow is starting to come around like 1.5, 1.6 air load with the race gas, and it tells me that's commensurate with about 10 psi. It seems to be right on the money, so no surprises there. But a fun time, good test with proper O2s. And I wanted to give ESS a shout because they trusted me with their blower, and I hope I did right by them. I'm not doing this to promote their blower. I'm doing this so I can gather data. In the event that you come across an issue similar to mine, I have something to go off of. That's what I do 90% of the time on vehicles that I have. So in case anyone has come across that issue, then I can go ahead and say, well, my car kicked back 2 or 5 degrees with a 120 millimeter pulley and Snorkel 260 GT. I wouldn't run it any higher, but if you, the customer, wants me to desensitize the knock sensor, that's on you. On my personal vehicle, I'm not looking to run it on the ragged edge. That doesn't exist in my world. I want to be safe, make good power. 650, 675 wheel and 500 torque is damn good. Now, you know what would be really good? If I can find a suitable driver to race my white car versus my ZR1. I'm going to do some 60 to 130 tests coming up pretty soon with the white car and the ZR1 because I'm a little burned out on the dyno. Okay, I'm gonna wait a week or two to get back on the dyno because it's a lot of work for about a 15 or 20 minute video. So I'm going to try to stay off of that, do Mexico stuff 60 to 130 because you guys enjoy that too, and maybe it'll be more real world results for a lot of you guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video, enjoy the work that goes into making a video like this. A lot of work, but I hope it's worth it in the end for me to have data and for you to have content and information. Thanks for listening, guys. Talk to you later.